welcome to Floyd County, Kentucky. I'm here at beautiful Dewey Lake. It is the throes of autumn in eastern Kentucky, and we're finally starting to get some of the colors popping in the hills. Some of the trees are turning into red and just beautiful golden orange, and it's really nice out right now. I actually got here at the lake early enough this morning to grab a couple of semi-sunrise shots. I think I got a couple of decent ones this morning, we'll see. But actually the reason I came out this morning wasn't necessarily for landscape. I got up early enough to do that because I really just love doing that kind of work, but I really wanted to do something a little different for me anyway. Normally in the fall and winter months, I really get a hankering to start shooting some film. And I've had a couple of cameras that have been sitting on my shelf for a while now that I've used one of them, I haven't used the other. I think it's finally time to start giving them a little bit more love. It's the humble toy camera. If you don't know what a toy camera is, here's one of them. This is probably, I suppose, the most well-known one. It's the Holga medium format camera. And if you don't know what toy cameras are, they're just think of cameras that don't have a lot of functionality. They're cheaply made. They're essentially toys that you can load film into and get some photographs. It has all the essential elements. It has the place for the film, it has a lens, and it has a shutter button. There's not a whole lot of point in talking about settings. This Holga, for instance, has 4 settings, I guess, or one setting with 4 different options, and that's focus. It's got 4 different settings for focus here. I'm going to leave mine I'm going to leave it on the mountain here, which is, I guess, infinity focus. But this camera is as bare bones as it gets. It technically takes pictures. And here's the cool thing about it. Are they super sharp and great photos that you're going to get? No, I mean, you're not going to get the quality, you're not going to get like a Canon R5 quality out of this. That's kind of not the point. The point is to get, I don't know, you look at Holga pictures and people like Maureen Bond who really get out and shoot a lot with these Holgas and really kind of get their own style with it. You really kind of see the appeal of it. So that's kind of what I want to get into today with this camera. And I also have another one here. It's a Bentley BX-3. This one was gifted to me by my good friend and photographer, Cordis Bishop. Cordis, thanks again for that. This is a 35mm film camera. It has no focus settings. It's a fixed focus, 50mm lens. But it has 4 different settings for aperture. So you can control the light a little bit. You can go from f6 to 8 to 11 to 16. So definitely not a very bright one. But as far as toy cameras goes, this one's kind of hefty. I mean, I don't know what's in it, but it's plastic. It's not very sturdy, I would imagine, but yeah, kind of looking forward to seeing how that goes. I've not shot with this yet. I have another little toy camera. It's branded Yamashita I shot with, and it broke as soon as I started trying to advance the film on it. So we're going to see how these go. I'm really excited to get to work with it. But for now, it's going to be a little bit, because like I said, there's some cloud cover here. I've got some film that I need to load in this, so it's going to be a little bit before we get down to the town of Prestonsburg and walking around and see what we can get down there. Yeah, but for now I'm just going to take some more scenes into the lake, drive around a bit, wait for the light to get a little bit brighter. I guess the next time I see you, I will be in Prestonsburg, and we'll be taking some toy camera photos. that was some photographs with the Holga medium format toy camera and the Bentley BX-3 camera. Some good fun walking around the city of Prestonsburg in eastern Kentucky. Wasn't the greatest day for it, didn't have the best light, but it was still a little bit of fun. This is also the point where I think I want to mention a little bit about the film that I used. So with the Bentley camera, I was shooting Fujifilm Superia. It's a 400 speed film. I don't know a ton about that film. I just actually saw it in a CVS one day as I was checking out. Paid about 25 bucks for a pack of 3. Pretty sure I overpaid. The other film I was using in the Holga was actually some Holga branded film. Don't know a whole lot about it either. I suspect, however, that it was probably just some repackaged film some other company makes, and they just repackaged it with the Holga name and sold it as a Holga film. But let's get into some shots now. So this first one here, it's a shot with the Holga, and you'll notice on the Holga also that there's going to be some some issues on the left and the right, and sometimes the left and right, because with Holga, earlier I mentioned there's maybe only one setting that's focus. Well, that's not the case. There's a couple more settings also, or a couple more things you can do to change up your images. First, you can either shoot 1x1 square photos, or you can shoot rectangular, I believe 6x7. I messed up the little tab on the back. Thought I was shooting rectangular. I was not. I was shooting square. So basically what I get is a double exposure on the left and the right of the images. It actually turned out pretty neat. I'm not minding so bad. I'd much rather have had the full image as opposed to that, but the more I look at them, the more I'm not disliking them. Anyway, this one is a good example. It's a shot the old Twin Strand movie theater in downtown Prestonsburg. No longer operating, but this is a good example of maybe some of the shots that you'll get with a Holga camera. There's nothing sharp about it, nothing technically great, but it has an absolute ton of character. This is probably one of my favorite shots that I got with the Holga. Here's another one with another good example of that double exposure on the left and right. This is just an old abandoned shack just outside of Gymnopedie State Park. So this is actually the first shot that I made with the Bentley, with the Fujifilm. Just a simple shot showing some of the fall foliage next to Dewey Lake. So one thing I noticed on this Superia film, it's got a little bit of a magenta cast to it, at least mine did. And I had to do a little bit of work in Lightroom just to get the color grading the way I sort of wanted it. In some images I didn't, I was not successful and just didn't get it how I wanted it and ended up giving up on them. There's the first shot with that Bentley. And here's a shot, I rather like it actually with the Bentley as well. And this is a good example of a shot that it took me a while in Lightroom to get the color the way I wanted it, and it still to me is a little bit too green. But the original shot, the shadows were extremely in the purple or magenta range. Had to do a little bit of work on that. But yeah, generally like it. This is actually in Hazard, Kentucky. Like I said, I was actually just driving around looking for a few frames to finish off the roll because I didn't finish it off in Prestonsburg. This is the one with the Bentley that I really like as well though. So this is a shot that I'm assuming you recognize, considering that we just looked at the Holga version of it, but this is with the Bentley in color of the Twin Strand Theater in Prestonsburg. Not bad. Got a little bit of definition in the sky, so it's not just all white. I noticed with the Fujifilm that it was actually, there was a pretty good amount of dynamic range. I can pull back the highlights once I scanned them in and went into Lightroom. So there was, like I said, a little bit of definition in the clouds. As much as you're going to get probably from this camera anyway. But you can see the color. I like it pretty good. The more I look at these images, the more I like the color. It's not Kodak Ektar, but it's it doesn't look bad. So here's another shot from downtown Hazard, Kentucky, when I was driving around a couple days after the visit to the lake. And it's got a nice colorful lens flare in the right side of the frame. Don't necessarily love it, but don't hate it either. Just another one of those shots. So this is the Twin Strand Theater in downtown Prestonsburg. Different angle of it with the Holga. Here's another Holga shot of a church in Prestonsburg. And here's a shot of the loading dock at Gymnopedie State Park at the lodge. You can see some boats in the water and everything. Obviously shot with the Holga, you see the double exposure and everything. There's another shot, actually just shot left of the boat dock, the loading ramp. And here's, I guess it's technically a quadruple exposure with the Holga, considering you have the 2 columns on the right and left, and also an intended double exposure. I meant to. I was just kind of experimenting with a parking lot here at the church, and also a shot of Main Street. I don't know if I don't think it's Main Street. I'm not sure what the street names are in Prestonsburg, but the main thoroughfare through town. So yeah, those are some images out of a couple of toy cameras, and I hope you enjoyed them as much as I enjoyed making them, and as much as I enjoyed looking at them now. It's been a whole lot of fun, this whole process with these cameras, just learning something new, how they work, maybe a little bit more of what I can expect from them if I ever decide to run some film through them again, and I believe I will. But yeah, I think I'm going to sign off for now. And if you have any questions about them, have any comments at all, just let me know. Got links down to social media, all that stuff. Like, subscribe. Hey, I would appreciate it. Thanks again.